Welcome to my presentation on Understanding by Design, and we're going to start with the process for Stage 1. First, you'll begin with the course and unit summary. For this part of Stage 1, you're going to enter the preliminary information. What are you wanting to teach? What's the name of the class? What's the time frame? Who is your target audience? The school district, the institution. Again, this is basically just to put the preliminary information down so that it's very clear with what you are looking to teach and who you are looking to teach it to. For the course design section, this is where you're going to look at the time frame, enter that information, and what the level of expertise is for the information that you plan to deliver. For the unit overview, you'll want to just briefly give a summary of what your unit is going to be about, and it's important to make sure that you use simple words. Make it so that a fifth grader could understand it. You want it to be very clear to your audience, to your students, what you plan to teach. A really important aspect of Stage 1, maybe one of the most important aspects, is the big idea. This is the part where you want to include information that really is inspirational, that gets the students excited about what you're going to teach, and just really gives a big, broad overview of everything. Then we move on to professional organizations. This is where you're going to let the audience know, where is this information coming from? What professional organization, and where could we look this information up? What is this tied to? Who are the experts in this field? So again, you want to make sure that you put that information down. And standards and or competencies, very important section here, to really, I think this section could really be considered the building blocks for your course or for your unit. What is everything based on? What are the standards? What are the goals, the underlying information that what you're going to teach, again, is anchored to. I also want to note here that for some disciplines, there may not be standards or competencies that you can easily refer to. So sometimes this process can take a bit of time to really identify those competencies. The next part of the section is what we refer to as the transfer section. For Stage 1, you're really getting into the knowledge, the information that you want students to know, the desired results, and how you want those students to be able to use that information. For transfer, we're talking about how could I, as a student, independently in a different context, take the information that I have been taught and utilize that information. So that is what you will put in this particular section. An important note as well is that you will notice that you'll see transfer code on the side, and then you'll see competency codes on the side. What this is really getting you to focus on is making sure that each section is tied back to your initial competencies, your initial goals that you have set. What you are looking for is alignment. Each section builds on the other section and it aligns to each section. The next section is what we refer to as meaning. This really gets into the understandings, the ideas that you want students to be able to reflect on, the connections that you want students to make. And under this section, you will have two subsections: essential questions and understandings. For essential questions, those are the thought-provoking questions that you want to develop for this section. What are those questions, those provocative questions, questions that are not easily answered with yes or no? What are those that will get students excited about the information and really help students to again make those underlying meanings and connections to the information? For understanding, what do you want students to understand? What inferences should they make from the information that you are teaching them? And again, keeping in mind that everything is tying back to the initial competency codes. Next is the acquisition section. For the acquisition section, this is where you will include the knowledge information as well as the skills. The knowledge information, the best way to think of that is the facts. What are the facts that you want students to know? Skills would refer to, after students have those facts, what can they do with those? What are the discrete skills that they should be able to perform with the knowledge that they have acquired? And that concludes stage one.